Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Tuesday, April 13, 2021. Deutsche Welle report. Biden says U.S. to leave Afghanistan on September 11. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to announce the withdrawal of all U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11, an official told reporters on condition of anonymity on Tuesday. The symbolic date, 20 years to the day of the historic terrorist attack on the World Trade Center in New York, will end the longest war in the U.S. history. The Trump administration had set the pullout date for May 1. Biden's decision will delay the end of the war by another 5 months.
Fox report. Colorado agricultural burn turns into almost 900-acre wildfire. An agricultural burn in Colorado has scorched almost 900 acres, authorities said Monday night. In a statement posted to Facebook, the Rio Blanco County Sheriff's Office, RBCSO, said the Meeker area fire had spread over 890 acres and is 60% contained. In details provided in the Post as well as a Sunday Post, the RBCSO noted that the county's communication center had received a 911 call on Sunday, April 11 after 1 p.
Al Jazeera report. Police chief. Officer resigned 2 days after black motorist killed. The chief of police and the patrol officer who fatally shot a black man during a traffic stop in Brooklyn Center, a suburb of the United States city of Minneapolis, resigned on Tuesday. Police Chief Tim Gannon and Officer Kim Potter both resigned 2 days after the death of 20-year-old Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center, the mayor of the town said at a news conference on Tuesday. Potter is a white woman and Wright was a black man.
BBC report. India's Maharashtra state announces 15 days of tough new COVID measures. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray stopped short of calling it a lockdown, but said for the next 15 days, only essential services would function. Mr. Thackeray said gatherings of more than 4 and non-essential travel on public transport would be banned. The war has begun again, the Chief Minister said at a press conference. Now is the time for action. He added, I am not saying a lockdown just now, but strict restrictions. I know bread and butter is important, but saving lives is important.
CNN report. FDA says medication abortion drug can be distributed by mail during pandemic. The Biden administration is removing a requirement that one of the drugs involved in medication abortion be dispensed in person during the COVID-19 pandemic. The move, freeing up a type of non-surgical abortion effective earlier in pregnancy, further expands abortion access under President Joe Biden and marks a victory for the slew of abortion rights groups, medical groups and congressional Democrats that have put pressure on the administration in recent months to go further in reducing barriers to abortion.
Fox report. Connecticut police in standoff with barricaded gunmen, shots fired. A person has barricaded themselves and reportedly fired shots in a Connecticut neighborhood Tuesday, prompting the evacuation of some nearby homes, authorities said. The Branford Police Department said several law enforcement agencies, including SWAT officers, were assisting in the situation near Main Street and Cherry Hill Road. Authorities urged people to avoid the area and to use alternate routes.
Al Jazeera report. Burkinabe ex-president Compaoré charged in Thomas Sankara murder. Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. A military court in Burkina Faso's capital has indicted former President Blaise Compaoré in connection to the 1987 murder of his charismatic predecessor, Thomas Sankara. A statement issued by the court on Tuesday cited complicity in assassination and an attack on state security by Compaoré, who ruled the country until 2014. When he was forced to resign in the face of mass demonstrations against an attempt to extend his 27-year rule.
CNN report. Foreign interference in Canada hitting Cold War levels thanks to COVID-19, says spy agency. Foreign spying and interference in Canada last year hit levels not seen since the Cold War, in part because of vulnerabilities caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the main Canadian spy agency said on Monday. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service, CSIS, singled out Russia and China as particular causes for concern and said key national security threats such as violent extremism, foreign interference, espionage and malicious cyber activity grew in 2020 and, in many ways, became much more serious for Canadians.
Fox report. Iran to enrich uranium to 60%, highest level ever. Official. Dubai. United Arab Emirates. Iran will begin enriching uranium up to 60% purity after an attack on its Natanz nuclear facility, a negotiator said Tuesday, pushing its program to higher levels than ever before, though still remaining short of weapons grade. The announcement marks a significant escalation after the sabotage that damaged centrifuges, suspected of having been carried out by Israel, and could inspire a further response from Israel amid a long-running shadow war between the nations.
Deutsche Welle report. Pakistan. Deadly anti-French protests escalate. Far-right Islamist protesters clashed with police in Pakistan on Tuesday after their leader was arrested for demanding the expulsion of the French ambassador, officials said. At least one police officer and one protester died during the second day of clashes in Lahore, the country's second-largest city, police officials told Reuters. Activists from the Islamist Tehreek-e-Labiak Pakistan (TLP) party blocked crucial transport routes overnight, demanding the release of their leader Saad Rizvi.
CNN report. Ukraine's president heads to the trenches as Russia masses its troops. Ankle-deep in thick black sludge, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky moves stealthily with his troops in single file through the warren of trenches and tunnels that form the tense front lines in the east of his country. It feels more like the early 20th century than a modern conflict, with tired, nervous soldiers gripping their rifles around him as they reach open ground, scanning the area for movement across no man's land.
BBC report. Mexico arrests 30 Marines over disappearances in Tamaulipas. Prosecutors say the victims went missing when the Marines deployed in the border city of Nuevo Laredo. Criminal groups are behind most cases, but security forces are also blamed. This is the largest detention of military personnel in relation to disappearances in recent years, and a blow to the Mexican Navy, considered the country's most trusted security force. The Marines were handed over to the Attorney General's office last Friday in compliance with arrest warrants for the alleged crime of forced disappearance of persons.
Al Jazeera report. COVID's financial toll. 38 million Americans are now worse off. While most Americans have weathered the coronavirus pandemic financially, about 38 million say they are worse off now than before the outbreak began in the United States. Overall, 55% of Americans say their financial circumstances are about the same now as a year ago, and 30% say their finances have improved, according to a new poll from Impact Genome and the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research.
Deutsche Welle report. Egypt impounds Ever Given over Suez compensation claim. The Ever Given megaship, that blocked the Suez Canal for almost a week, is being held until its owners pay for the damages, canal authorities said on Tuesday. The Empire State Building-sized cargo ship has not been given clearance to leave the lake off the canal where it was moved to. The Ever Given was seized due to its failure to pay $900 million, €754 million, in compensation. Suez Canal Authority, SCA, Chief Osama Rabi told the state-run newspaper Al Ahram.
CNN report. Virginia AG investigates possible pattern of misconduct at Windsor PD. Virginia's Attorney General said his office is looking into whether there was a pattern of misconduct at the Windsor Police Department after two officers pointed guns at a U.S. Army officer, pepper sprayed him and pushed him to the ground during a traffic stop. Attorney General Mark Herring on Monday formally requested information from the Windsor Police Department, saying he was deeply concerned about a traffic stop in which the officers conducted themselves in a manner Herring called dangerous, unnecessary, unacceptable and avoidable.
BBC report. Rudolf Anschober, Austrian Health Minister, resigns due to exhaustion. Rudolf Anschober, 60, was appointed in January 2020 and led the country's health response to the pandemic. In the worst health crisis in decades, the Republic needs a health minister who is 100% fit, he told reporters. That is not currently me, he said. His 15 months in office had felt like 15 years. Chancellor Sebastian Kurz said his minister had sacrificed himself for our country. Mr. Anschober's replacement in the coalition government has been named as Wolfgang Muckstein, a trained doctor and fellow Green Party member.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. Recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.